The dawn was still gray when I pulled up to my fields, thermos of coffee in hand, and saw the gate padlocked shut, my crops caged like a sideshow exhibit. Patricia Kendall, the HOA president, strutted across my land as if she'd planted every stalk herself. Her smug grin was a spark in dry grass, and I was about to set it ablaze by revealing I bought the property and the only key to the gate she'd just locked. The chain-link fence, 6 feet tall and crowned with barbed wire glinting like jagged teeth, sliced across my corn and tomato fields. A garish orange sign flapped in the breeze. Community Enhancement Project, no trespassing. I stood there, one hand on my truck's door, the other squeezing the thermos until my knuckles whitened. This farm had been my family's for 3 generations, its roots deeper than the subdivisions that had crept up around it. I was a fixture, unyielding as the oak by the barn. But Patricia, with her HOA crown and her manicured claws, had other plans. I stormed toward the fence, where workers in reflective vests hammered posts into my soil. "What the hell is this?" I growled. One glanced at his clipboard, muttering about HOA mandates and aesthetic standards, then jerked his thumb toward the clubhouse perched on the hill. I didn't wait for more excuses. I marched to the HOA office, where Patricia sat behind a desk too big for her, typing with the focus of a general plotting war. "It's for the community's benefit," she purred when I demanded answers, her voice syrupy with malice. "Your farm, while quaint, clashes with Willow Creek's vision." The board voted for a visual barrier. A barrier, as if my family's sweat and sacrifice were a blight to be hidden. I told her my land was grandfathered under original zoning, predating her HOA's existence. Her smile widened, predatory. "You can appeal," she said, sliding a stack of paperwork across the desk. "But fines for noncompliance accrued daily. Noncompliance for farming." I snatched the papers and left, fury boiling. Appeals were a trap. Patricia didn't play fair. She played to win, wielding power like a club. I tried reason first: letters, meetings, a lawyer versed in land disputes. Patricia countered with doubled fines and citations for unauthorized land use and substandard landscaping, despite my fields being healthier than her followers' lawns. At night, HOA security SUVs prowled past my gates, headlights raking my crops like prison searchlights. I overheard her cronies at the gas station cackling about how my farm tanked their property values. They didn't know I'd been preparing for years, ever since Willow Creek's first cul-de-sacs edged my fields. I'd updated deeds, studied easements, pored over faded maps. Every fine, every notice, I documented. Every lie, I recorded. This wasn't just about my land. It was a war I'd win with patience and precision. The fence was a daily humiliation. My tractors couldn't pass. Patricia even installed cameras, claiming security, but really to keep the farmer in his pen. One day, I caught her leading a tour for prospective buyers, gesturing at my crops. "We're modernizing," she said loudly, smirking at me, sweat-soaked and seething. "Soon this will be green space, perhaps a dog run." She wanted me erased. Most neighbors would probably cheer. That night, on my porch, staring at the fence's ugly silhouette, I saw 2 paths: sell out or fight. I chose to fight, not with shouts or lawsuits, but with cunning. I played the part of the beaten farmer, inspecting the fence daily, nodding at its locks. I attended HOA meetings, silent in the back. I paid small fines to keep her complacent, all while moving pieces in the shadows. Willow Creek's boundaries weren't as tidy as their brochures claimed. Old land grants, forgotten easements, and slivers of ownership lay buried in dusty records cracks in Patricia's fortress. I started small, buying a 10-foot strip of dirt road from old Mr. Jenkins, who owned the back entrance to the HOA's clubhouse lot. He sold it cheap, grinning at the chance to stick it to Patricia. Then I snagged mineral rights under the neighborhood's east side from a widow. Piece by piece, through shell companies and proxies' cousins, church friends, and army buddy, I wove a net around Willow Creek. The biggest coup was the HOA office's land leased, not owned, with the lease expiring soon. The heir, a divorcee eager for cash, sold it to me quietly. Patricia's empire sat on my property, and she didn't even know. Every deed was a nail in her coffin. I worked nights, meeting farmers, widows, landlords, while Patricia's fines gave me cover, making me look weak. Her arrogance was my ally. Neighbors she'd alienated began grumbling, and I listened, offering easements and maintenance rights. By spring, I controlled 60% of Willow Creek's critical land, roads, drainage, the pool's water line, hidden through trusts and a lawyer too stubborn to fold. I even bought the old maintenance depot, foreclosed and dirt cheap. Driving by, I saw Patricia berating a landscaper, oblivious. I tipped my hat, savoring the ticking clock. The lease expiration was circled in red on my calendar. Patricia's final move came on a muggy Saturday. For months, she'd gloated, piling on fines for inappropriate soil color and unauthorized agriculture. At the last meeting, she'd waved a brass key, announcing the HOA now controlled my field's access for safety. I nodded, hiding my grin. 2 days earlier, I'd closed the deals that made me the owner of the field, its easements, and the fence's foundation. Her permanent management plan was a house of cards on my land. She planned a beautification celebration to cement her victory, with flyers, a bouncy house, and a newspaper photographer. I let the buzz grow, wanting witnesses. That morning, Willow Creek hummed. Golf carts decked with balloons, kids racing. Patricia arrived in a white pantsuit and sun hat, the brass key dangling on a gold chain like a scepter. She led a parade to the gate, preaching about community pride. Cameras flashed as she inserted the key into the padlock. It didn't turn. She jiggled it, her smile faltering. The crowd murmured. She tried again, face reddening, then snapped at a maintenance guy. His keys failed too. That's when I stepped forward, boots dusty, a thick stack of deeds in hand. "Trouble, Patricia?" I called, loud enough for all to hear. She spun, her smile a grimace. "There's an issue with the lock," she hissed. "This gate's HOA property. You're trespassing." I laughed, a deep, rolling sound. "Trespassing, Patricia? This land's mine. Always has been. Now I own the easements, the clubhouse lot, and the ground this fence stands on." I handed the deeds to the maintenance guy, who took them, stunned. "Certified, filed with the county. Check if you want." Silence choked the air. Patricia's knees wobbled. "You're lying," she squeaked. "Nope," I said, unlocking the gate with my key. It swung open with a groan. "This is private property. You're all trespassing. 5 minutes, or I call the sheriff." The crowd fractured. Some bolted. The photographer lowered his camera. Patricia stood frozen, the brass key slipping from her fingers to clatter on the asphalt, a worthless trinket. "You can't do this," she whispered. "Already did," I said, grinning. "Any HOA funds spent here now? That's embezzlement. I've filed notices. Test me if you like." She turned, her followers slinking after her in defeat. I leaned against the gate, savoring the shift. The crowd lingered, some laughing, a few clapping. "Enjoy the view," I told them. "It's still a farm. Mind the tomatoes." That night, I changed the locks, posted private property signs, and added one across from the clubhouse. "Smile. You're trespassing on farmer land." Patricia tried lawsuits, but my deeds were ironclad. Her empire crumbled. The HOA couldn't access their amenities without my roads. My lawyer, Eleanor, a land dispute veteran, bled their funds dry with tolls and permits. Residents revolted. At a packed meeting, Eleanor revealed the HOA's illegal operations on my land, sparking chaos. Patricia resigned, citing health issues, and fled as her McMansion sold at a loss. I didn't stop at winning. I tore down the fence, planting wildflowers where it stood. I reopened the produce stand. The clubhouse, bought at auction, became a vibrant market. At the entrance, I erected a 10-foot iron rooster clutching a brass key, its plaque reading, "T.O. Patricia, who lost it all over a fence." For me, it was about freedom, trust, community built on handshakes, not tyranny. Each sunrise, I walked my fields, tipping my hat to the rooster, the key gleaming. Patricia's voice might echo faintly in the wind, still raging, but the door was locked forever. My land, my rules. Wide open and fiercely mine. Thumb_up, thumb_down.